G'day friends, welcome to the very final flip of hashtag littleraveninktober, my little off-camera journal that I've been keeping for my little side project. So as you know, I've been doing Inktober, the Daisy project, where we've been looking at children's book illustrations and having a big collaborative children's book play, and that's been really fun, and I'm still going strong with that. I've got Whimsy Ween as well, so we've been doing some sketch flixing. I've got another tutorial coming out. Well, it's like a tutorial slash just a video. It's a video where I kind of step you through some of the process, but I'll be honest, I cheated and I used Mindy Lacefield's stamps for that video, so you're not going to learn very much, I don't think, but it is a cute little prompt. And then I've been doing hashtag littleraveninktober in my spare time off of an evening, like for my me time. Just so that I can keep the wheels greased. I think I've said that before, but it is super important if you are in this industry. I think for whatever industry you're in, it is always important to separate that part of you that really has a passion for what you're doing that maybe turned into a business, and to remember where that passion came from, and to keep that sparked for yourself and kind of disassociated a little bit from the business. Because if you get too, if you get too unbalanced either way, if you're either all focused on the business, then you start to lose a bit of personal passion. But then if you're all focused on the personal passion, you don't tend to grow your business very well. So try to find that happy medium and try to find that balance. And the only way to do it is to actually commit to doing, hour of an evening, or 20 minutes of an evening if I have it, maybe in the morning, but at least once a day, just kind of practicing for myself and playing for myself. And this has been that for me for the past couple of weeks. I honestly thought it would take me through all of October to do, but I chose a very simplistic illustration style, and so they actually didn't take very long to complete. And now I'm kind of stuck for what to do next. I think I'm just going to go back to playing in my journal. I might get on mixed media out because I feel like I've been neglecting watercolor specifically. For this whole project, I've been using Copic markers. Mostly my Copic sketch. These aren't sketch, are they? I think they are. Yeah, Copic sketch markers. So there's a chisel tip on one end, and then there's a brush tip on the other end. Copic markers are renowned for being the best alcohol marker on the planet, and they are expensive. Sometimes even in like retail stores, they're up to about $8 a marker, which can be quite outrageous. But then some companies like, I think Blick does a price match guarantee. I'm not quite sure. I feel like I got a discount last time I went in there. Also, you can get them off Amazon for kind of like recommended retail pricing. Sometimes there are sales on, and if you buy sets, obviously they become cheaper as you go. So generally, I would imagine that most of these cost me about $5 per marker, which I still agree is a lot of money. Copic Chow, though, is a less expensive version of the Copic Sketch. It's practically exactly the same thing. You've got a chisel tip on one side, and you've got a brush tip on the other side. The difference with the Chow is that they're a circular barrel, and also they don't hold as much ink. So you are kind of paying a little less to get a little less. So it's up to you whether, if alcohol markers are even something you're looking for. There are also much cheaper alternatives, like the Mini So, which is a private labeled alcohol marker. I've seen these barrels, these exact same pens with different company names on them, but they're about $1 each. So this is a really good one to get. Unfortunately, my Mini So stopped selling these, which was really upsetting. I'd just done a review and everything, told everyone how great it was, and then they stopped selling it. Kind of jinxed myself there, but I don't know if you can get these online. I believe someone did link me to a set of these once. Perhaps, I don't know, but I do have a few colors. The thing that I don't like about most cheaper, oh, there goes everything, most cheaper alcohol markers is that they've usually got a chisel tip, which is fine, but I rarely use it. But they trade off the brush tip for a bullet tip, a little bullet nib, and I just don't really enjoy the bullet nib, if I'm truly honest. I don't ever really need that small of a tip, and also with the brush, you can achieve quite a really small line, a really fine line, if you need to get into tiny detail areas. So for me, I'm always looking for the brush tip, and I know there are cheaper alternatives brush tip markers out there as well. But often you'll see that when you buy those, they're private labeled, and most of them come from the same few factories. And the difference I have noticed personally from using some cheap markers to using the Copic markers is not so much that they don't work. There's beautiful colors, they definitely work. You get that streak-free finish, but when you actually look at the ink itself, it has almost this little like texture, like a little granulating texture, and it almost looks like there are little white spots all over the ink. I'm not quite sure why that happens. I could speculate a million reasons, but honestly I don't know. And I'll be honest, even sometimes on certain papers you'll get that same effect with the Copic markers. So it possibly could just be user error, and I'd be more inclined to believe it was. But for the most part, I do just think, even when you're getting with some of the cheaper markers, they tend to be about $4 or $5 at the same time. So if you're going to spend $5 on a marker, you might as well go with the world-renowned's best, right? So says me. I don't know if it really is the world's best. But these have been around for centuries. They're Japanese. Everything Japanese is good quality. It's just a given. So yeah, that's what I've been using. I've also been using a Muji gel ink pen in the size 0.25, and this is a blue one. I've been using this to do all of the, like, quote-unquote lining or the inking of the illustration, and I have been going in with a very broken line effect around the outer edges and kind of putting in details with this as well. It's just super fun to line in color sometimes. Black can be very contrasty, and color is a really fun thing, and I picked up from Fran Nerd and from Catnip Illustrations. I've seen them both line in color a lot with these simplified illustration styles, and Fran Nerd specifically with the blue Muji gel ink pen. So I'm really lucky that I accidentally picked up a ton of gel pens last year when we went to Japan, and I do have a few of these in different colors so I can try random I mean, I've got like tons. I went crazy in Muji, basically. If you saw the Japan vlog, you will have seen how crazy I went in Muji. I just got very overexcited and stimulated. But this dark navy is a beautiful color as well. I'm quite partial to the orange and, red, blue, pink. I guess I'm quite partial to all of these. I do like these ones. It's a very, very fine tip as well. It is water reactive though, so be careful if you're into the water mediums. And I've also used, I don't have the exact color with me. I wonder where that color went. I used a Faber-Castell Polychromos pencil to do the drawing, like the underdrawing, the rough sketch, I guess you could call it. I don't know which color I had. I seem to have lost the other pencil. I think a cat might have taken it. In any case, it was a Faber-Castell Polychromos. I'll have all of those things linked down below if you want to check them out. And sorry for chatting your ear off before we started, but it was the last video, so I kind of wanted to tell you how it all came together, just in case you missed it in the first one. I'm going to quickly flip through to where we left off in part 2 and start from there. So we got to 23 in the last one. Did we? Yes. Beware the jingle jangle of the spoon dress. This is where we got up to last time, and this is where we're going to start today, 24. The prompt reads, if the antlers fit, buy one in every color. Now, I was super excited about this prompt because I think most of us in mixed media arts and crafting like to draw some whimsical little ladies and are partial to a good antler every now and then. And so I was really excited to draw this, and I actually was so excited that, I don't know if anyone joined me for that Instagram live stream, I actually did do a version of this on the live stream because I was so excited to show this one and I couldn't wait. So this is what I did on the live stream. This is the one that it actually was. Looking side by side, I actually think I really prefer this one over this one. I don't know, maybe the whole effect was just a little sweeter on here. She looks a little more savage. But yes, I did do that on an Instagram live stream because I was way too excited. And this is the prompt for that. One of my favorite features of this is I went in with a really light Copic marker to color the leaves. And as I went, I would touch a darker color over the end of the leaf. And Copics are really great for blending wet on wet. So if you have a really wet space of color that you've just laid down, tapping another color into there or dragging another color through, it will kind of feather out and have a really nice soft blend. And that's how I achieved this really soft effect here. I'll try and put it up at the screen just so you can see it better. It was a really nice, happy accident the way this all came together. I didn't mean to put her in this kind of collapsed flower. I actually was struggling to put where I thought her shoulder was going to be, so these were about 3 different shoulder options she had. And eventually I settled on this one, and the rest just became a part of the flower because I'm not, even though I was sketching with the pencil, like I was doing my under sketch with a pencil, I wasn't erasing anything still. So there are still a lot of construction lines that you can see through all of these. Okie dokie, number 25. There's never a bad time for a milkshake mustache. A couple of ideas I had for this one. Sorry about that light. That's like the part of the blind that I can't shut. So this was one that I kind of struggled with because I did want to originally have 2 milkshake glasses going off to the side, but as I even thought about the sketch, I didn't even bother to put it down. I just thought it would be, I don't know, I thought it'd be weird. I thought it almost looked like a bow tie, which, thinking about it now, I probably could have drawn a little body on him and had it as a bow tie. That's a free idea for you if you would like that. But instead of doing like a little milk mustache or something, I actually just wrote milkshake in kind of bubble lettering across the where his mustache might be. And I thought that was just a really simple interpretation that I was kind of happy with. I like the color scheme too, that really soft yellow skin shade, the teal, that light teal color, and the blush pink. Number 26. This one's a bit of a lengthy one, so bear with me because I'm not a great reader. There were no lengths to which Beatrix would not go to satisfy her muse, even if that meant buying pink feather boas at 4 a.m. while wearing her bra backwards. So, I mean, that's a prompt and a quarter. I don't even... like, where was I supposed to start with that one? To me, I immediately thought Beatrix Potter and Peter Rabbit, so I wanted to go with a bit of a rabbit-type character just to, I don't know, just to get the reference in there. But I don't know if it was referenced on Beatrix Potter. There's no other Beatrix I'm aware of. I almost said Bellatrix Lestrange. Luckily, I didn't go with that. So this was, I put the bags underneath her eyes. Like, if you put the eyelid on top, it can look quite distant and dreamy, but if you put the eyelid underneath, she can look quite tired or stressed. So simply change the orientation of that eyelid so that it looked like she was up until 4 a.m. There's the little bra that went backwards. It did get a little lost because I chose a very similar color to what I was using. I wanted a really harmonious palette, and so I did have to go in quite heavy with the ink pen to pull out those details again. I'm not quite sure if you can see, but she's a very detailed little blue bra there. And another feather boa. This is the 2nd feather boa in this prompts list. And also there's another spoon in this prompts list. I don't know what it is with the inkies and their spoons and boas, but they really came through and showed out for Inktober. So I think it's fair to say that I've practiced some boas and spoons this month, I guess. I can't say I got better at it. Alright, number 27. I can't read this one in its entirety. I am sorry about that, but I don't swear on this channel, so I'm just going to bleep myself as I read it, but it says, "Behold, the bleeping yellow backpack in her natural habitat." So I just put a yellow backpack on the page. I think there must be a joke in there somewhere, like a personal, like inside joke or something, but I'm not quite aware of it. So it was kind of a bizarre prompt, and I almost skipped it just because I knew I was going to get to the point where I had to read the prompt out and I wouldn't swear. So I'm so sorry. That you can go and check the prompts list if you really want to see what it says, but yeah, I'm not going to say that today. Anyway, so I put a yellow backpack. I guess I didn't put it in any natural habitat. It's just on the page. Maybe the page is its natural habitat. But just gave it a cute little face. I used a Japanese school bag as inspiration for this one because I love the shape of the Japanese school bag. I just think it's beautiful, and also they're like $500. I don't know if you've ever tried to research Japanese school bags. I know Steve wanted one last year, and we were legit looking at them last year because he thought it would be a really great backpack to have, but they're no joke, like $500, and every Japanese kid has these school bags. And they're supposed to last the cycle of, you know, your schooling career. Like, I think they change backpacks from you know, the primary school into secondary school, but they're a very sturdy leather kind of lunchbox shaped bag. I don't know, they're really beautiful, so I used that as reference for that because I believe there must be something, like, obviously all the prompts are based off of Courtney's group and her inkies, her inky following, so I think there is something there that I'm just not grabbing onto. But either way, I think it was a fun little prompt to draw a little yellow backpack. I would never have drawn a backpack otherwise, and I guess that is one of the good things about following a prompts list. You're kind of pushed outside of doing what you would regularly do and what you're comfortable to do. So I really like that. Number 28, I think this was also something I struggled with. I'll get to it in a second. This one is, what are inkies made of? Question mark. Me and you and Courtney too, sharing paints and laughs, making plenty of art, paper and glue, and beautiful shoes. That's what inkies are made of. So there's like a little riddle, like a little rhyme thing going on there. So I think the whole thing was an ode to Courtney and the inky following that she has. And so I wanted to pull out some of the kind of I guess traits of what I see Courtney and her offering, but I'll just be honest, I don't know all of them, so I just went very surface level, and I'm sure all the, like, any inkies that are watching, I'm really sorry if I've completely missed something obvious, but this is what I could glean from the surface, and it is Courtney has pink hair, and she likes stripes. She has Converse shoes, so I put some shoelaces on here. These were also from the prompts too, like I didn't even pick that. It says shoes in there, so I put the shoes in there. A tea, I know Courtney loves some tea, so I put a little teapot in the K. She loves her monsters, her very like Where the Wild Things Are looking monsters, so I put one of those in there. This is supposed to be paper that folds up, but I didn't really know how to achieve that very well. I put a camera because she does filming and photography, so I put that in there, and this is the paint or glue. It's either or because I needed to get them in the prompt. So that's what I put down there. I hope that is indicative of the inkies, otherwise I've just wasted a whole bunch of time on nothing. It was alright, I practiced my bubble lettering. I love a good bit of bubble lettering, so any excuse to practice is good for me, but that's the one that I came up with that prompt. I think these two, they're just very specific to the inky group, and not really having been a part of it for long enough to know what that is. I think I just struggled because I was trying to pull reference from something I didn't understand. But either way, I do like how both of these turned out. Number 29, between splatters of paint and the tinkle of teaspoons, you'll find the unicorns. So I tried to do 2 teaspoons, like in my head I thought, what if I made a composition of like 2 teaspoons and it was almost like a unicorn crest. But then I was trying to figure out how I would put the horn on and not have this like clash, because I just needed it to be obvious, and I couldn't figure it out, so I just decided to put 1 teaspoon in there and call it done, and then kind of have the balance offset with some mane and some unicorn. I don't know why I chose brown. I think maybe I was going to try and do some wood thing. Maybe I hadn't really let go of that crest idea yet, but brown doesn't look like the right choice in the end. However, I do like the illustration, and like I said, another spoon practice. I will never want to draw another spoon after this again. Spoons might be one of the hardest things to draw, like right next to hands. So that was number 29. What I also found interesting is this is also number 29. So mad props to Courtney for putting in an extra prompt. Like there weren't enough already, but look, I didn't even understand that there was a double 29 until I was doing it, and I thought, hang on, I was trying to count, and I thought, have I missed one, or have I doubled one? What have I done? I couldn't figure out what happened, and then the more I looked at it, I thought, no, number 29 was the splatters and paint, and number 29 was Bert and Betsy. Oh, there are 2 29s. So, in the end, I ended up doing both 29s because they were there and I wanted to finish the entire list. I knew I could get away with not doing one of them, but at this point, I was so close to the end, I was like, I'll do it. It's fine. And I didn't want to not do this one either. Like, I'd already done this one. If any, I would have omitted this 29 and just done this one. So, this one says, Bert and Betsy, certified fairy ring inspectors for the last 500 years. So, just to confuse you all, this is Bert and this is Betsy. I'm really playing off of gender stereotypes here, but I just wanted something really simple. I thought because the ring was going to be yellow, I could tie in that color palette that we all seem really attracted to, that very teal, pink, and yellow color palette, maybe even purple sometimes, and throw that in the mix here just to have that nice and stand out. Sorry about this glare again. This sunlight is just streaming through. How inconvenient to have beautiful weather today. But they've got little monocles on because they're fairy ring inspectors. I actually missed where it said ring inspectors, and at first I had a whole other idea. They were going to be in like little safari suits, and they were just going to be fairy inspectors, like just kind of. Well, I guess I don't know why I chose safari suits, but yeah, either way, I picked up on fairy ring inspectors, and I thought, oh, okay, so they must be into jewelry or something. But either way, that's them there. My favorite part of this are all the little wings that come off their body. And then the little wings on the ring as well. I like it. It's simple. Number 30 reads, Little Misty absolutely refused to have a bath unless the dragon from next door came to heat the water himself. And I just think it was such a fun idea. I did not want to draw it at all. I didn't want to draw a dragon. I didn't want to draw a bathtub. I didn't want to figure any of it out. It all seemed actually really overwhelming to me to simplify all of that. And this is probably one of the more detailed pieces, even as simple as it is. But when I had started drawing it, I just kind of really fell into it. This was just so much fun. I stuffed up on this this flame a million times. It was actually a really small flame that kind of started and like ended in the air, and then I used the wrong color. Like I thought I was going to do a really contrasty color and go, you know, bright yellow and orange, and it just looked ugly. If you peek closely, you can still see some of the orange underneath it. So in the end, I actually went over it with a dark green and put all of my little white accents in there. Because the alcohol marker underneath wasn't completely dry, that ink did pull up some of that color, and it did kind of tint it a really soft mint green. So it's not a problem for me, but if that is something you notice, then just let your alcohol ink really dry and seep into the paper before you put your highlights on. Oh, I didn't even mention that I used one, did I? I said all the other products, but I didn't say that. I used a Uniball Signo in the Broad. This is a white gel pen. Fantastic white gel pen. Love it to pieces. You'll also notice actually on any water reactive inks, so a Tombow brush marker, Dilutions ink, stuff like that, a mermaid marker from Jane Davenport, when you put the white gel pen over that, it will always lift the color from underneath and tint the white. So it's really hard to find anything that will lay over the top of water reactive ink like that, because the dye just stains whatever you're putting on top of it. So even a white Posca paint marker, it will stain that as well, and it will turn that a lighter shade of whatever's underneath. Paint, I've had a problem with acrylic paint. Even 3 or 4 layers of acrylic paint, it will still come through, even gesso. So that's why I kind of stay away from your mermaid markers, your Dilutions inks, your Tombow markers for when I'm doing lots of illustration or mixed media. There has to be a very specific reason why I might pick up one of those things, or if it's just for some like random play, because it generally doesn't play well with anything I want to put on top. It will always kind of seep through and saturate and stain that. So random side note for anyone that cared to know that. But either way, this one, I just really love it. I think she looks really fun just sitting in there. It made sure that I got her body in a position that was very modest, because it was really difficult to even know how to have her in the tub, especially because since the dragon was going to heat it. And then I felt like, honestly, this was something I added last minute. This is something I added at the end as well, because this was very unbalanced. If you looked at this, and I don't think it was unbalanced as a whole, it kind of had this nice arch, kind of like a triangle scheme thing going on, but it was off center as well, so it just really annoyed me to look at. And I was loving it so much, I really wanted to make sure that it looked right. And then I felt like adding these Venus flytraps also was a way to tie in all that green around her, and it just kind of gave me an extra element that I didn't know I wanted or needed. It was, all of a sudden, it isn't just like Misty having a bath. You kind of get this idea that she lives in this, you know, she has lots of plants around her. She lives almost like in a terrarium or something, and she might be a little sinister, or she might be a little weird, because like, who has Venus flytraps hanging over their bath, and who wants a dragon to come over and heat their bath? Like, she's almost a bit of a, I don't know, pastel Wednesday Addams for me. That's where I took it anyway. That's where I kind of got lost in it, and I think that's why I liked it so much, because it evoked such a bigger story. It was much like Pauline, a little cheese lady around here somewhere. I loved her. her and her little story as well. I think Courtney had mentioned once that, like, if she really likes something, it will speak to her. Like, they have voices in her head or something, and that's when she knows they're going to be something that she pursues. So I'm not saying that I'm going to pursue any of the stories in here, but there are a few in here that made me think and pause a lot longer than other ones, and they weren't necessarily the ones that I would have picked out from the beginning. So there is something really interesting to trying prompts lists for that reason, I think. And the very, very last one, so I'm going to say 31, but technically 32. Agatha Arthnot couldn't help herself. She simply had to buy the Mad Monster Munchkin starter kit for the bargain price of 3 baked apples and a bottle of finest dewberry wine. I mean, that's like 40 prompts in one, and I was so here for it. I wanted to finish with a bang. I almost did it all in rainbow colors, but at the end of the day, I thought, well, red's my favorite color, so let me get out all my favorite reds and just go for gold here. One of my favorite red colors in Copic markers is a color called Cardinal, and I'll try and find the number for you. The number is R59, and it's this color here, and it is such a beautiful color. I love it to pieces. I also love all these other colors. This one to me is actually surprisingly my favorite strong red, and of course it well, it has a name. It says geranium, but I don't know how you're supposed to get this Miniso marker. This is like the perfect Christmas red for me. Just putting it out there because sometimes I do get asked, and it's better to, I guess, say it in the video than to try and catch up in comments. So we've got Agatha here. Such a cute name, Agatha Arthnot. Whoever came up with that, I mean, you need to be writing children's books immediately. It is such a great name. So I imagine she's kind of like an old soul. So she's got a little, like a monogram brooch, and she's got the frills and, you know, almost like doily-like. It's very simple, so it's not full doily, but it's reminiscent of a doily to me. She's got polka dot hair because I couldn't help myself. I love her little wonky teeth, just the 2 wonky buck teeth, and her glasses. There's just so much going on in here. The Mad Monster Munchkin starter kit. I had M cubed up here for Mad Monster Munchkin, if anyone's wondering. I didn't just write that because I'm a crazy person. And the actual kit itself, I imagine like a Barbie box. So I've got the little swoop going up here for the logo. I tried to put a little barcode in there. I don't know if it reads. I wrote dew for dewberry wine, but I don't know if it really translates. It just kind of looks like scribbles. So those are the elements of that. But I think it was really fun and really nice to end on a strong red bang. So that's everything. I'm going to insert a quick flip of every single illustration done for this prompts list. Thank you, Courtney, and thank you to everyone else that submitted their ideas for that prompts list. I do believe it was a collaborative effort. If not, then just thank you, Courtney. And I had a really great time doing it. I'm kind of going to miss that it's all over, but I will still be following everyone else's journeys on this prompts list and all of your prompts lists as well. So I'll be guess on my free time. Who knows? Maybe I'll be Instagram living or something, because I've got free. Well, I guess I shouldn't do that. Off-camera journal doesn't mean Instagram live journal. Who knows? Maybe I'll just do both. Alrighty, I'm going to insert the flip here. Thank you so much for joining me on this random little off-camera journal adventure. There will be another video on my channel which will be a flip only, but you've seen these videos, so you will not need to watch that unless you just can't get enough and you want to watch it again, in which case I won't take offense. But just wanted to let you know that I'll just be doing a music only flip of this because some people don't like to listen to all the chatty long nature of these journal flips. I like to explain the process. I love to hear about people and where their thought processes went. I love to hear about the supplies that they use when they go through their journal flips. So I'll always watch a chatty one, and unless I need to get a quick glimpse of something, which I don't know if I ever really need to do, but I prefer to watch the chatty ones when people are flipping their journals, because it is such a personal thing. Even if it's something super simple like these illustrations, there's a lot of personal thought and story that goes into a lot of these things, and also I get a chance to explain the things that I struggled with, the things that I don't like, the things I might want to work on. There's an opportunity to say the things that I do like and the things that I feel like I had success with. So I just find it, I mean, obviously it's just easier to recap when you're chatting, but I will just put a music only flip of that up as well, just because I don't want everyone to have to sit through this if they don't want to. And that was an idea I got from Inky Quill, Adele. I think it was a few months ago, maybe even the start of the year, maybe even last year. Who knows? But I'd seen she'd put up a music only flip and then a chatty flip, and I thought, my goodness, I mean, if I had half the good ideas that everybody else has, I'd be fine. So I wrote to her, I was like, oh my goodness, thank you, you've saved my life, because I didn't know what to do. I wasn't going to upload like a less chatty version and a longer chatty version, and it just had never occurred to me just to do a music only flip. So thank you, Adele, if you're watching, and thank you again, Courtney, for your prompts list. Thank you, Inkies, for your suggestions on the prompts lists. Thank you to everyone else that watched and followed along and that had a good time playing. I will be back for another Inktober video every day this month, and some Whimsy Ween videos as well. So have a great day. Okay. How many more times can I wrap up this video? Oh, you know what I'll say? Like and subscribe, click the notification bell, dislike and comment, pop off down below. I like to keep all the options open because you never know. I'm not going to bore you with that, but thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
We got everything we need right here. Wine and burning chemistry. You and me alone. You and me alone. Inside of our embassy. Everything we need's right here. Make me sing along. Sing along. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. Oh, watch me. Me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me. Yeah, we got everything we need right here. We got everything. Moonlight on your naked skin. Blind us to giving. Where you wanna go, where you wanna go. Stars align onto your face. Pretty sweet, your sour taste. Make me sing along, sing along. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. I never thought I'd ever be stuck by you. Oh, watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me. We got everything we need, right? Watch me dancing in the colors, lightning, blowing up a thunder, wash it over me. Yeah, we got everything we need right here. We got sharing all your deepest dreams, wonder what they really mean, yeah. In the empty bottle lies all the answers. Write down all your memories, feel the things you wanna feel, yeah. In the empty bottle lies all the answers.